Something I'm really going to try to work on this year is conserving and preserving the food that I actually spend money on. It's very common for me to just go to the store, pick up some things, and then get in a hurry, allow my schedule to get messed up, and then I waste a lot of food that way. So today I'm going to try my best to begin remedying that problem. For some reason, I love to get these croissants whenever I go to Costco or Sam's. I will pick them up almost habitually. My family loves them, but as our numbers have dwindled at the house, there's just no way for us to finish an entire package. I should have put them in the freezer, but I didn't. So now I am left with sort of stale croissants, but tonight I'm going to use them in a recipe that someone shared with me, and hopefully I can bring them back to life, use them before they get mold on them, and create a delicious dinner for my family. I'm going to begin by just sort of tearing them into bite-sized pieces. Can also use a pair of scissors to get this done a little more efficiently. I bought the mini croissants, so I probably have about 10 or so left here, but any number that you have will be sufficient as long as it's enough to cover the bottom of your baking dish. I think it will be just fine. It looks nice actually. So now let's mix up a custard to pour on top of our croissants. In a mixing bowl, I'm going to add 6 eggs. To my 6 eggs, I'm going to add 2 cups of milk, a couple of teaspoons of salt, a little bit of pepper. And I'm going to whisk all of that together. Okay, I have browned 1 pound of sausage. I'm just going to scatter that on top of my croissants. The recipe actually called for ham. I didn't have any ham, so I'm just going to use this sausage. And I'm going to pour my egg custard on top of that, hopefully covering all of our croissants. I'm going to top that with some shredded cheese. It'll get nice and bubbly. And now we're ready to put it in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to let it bake for probably 30 minutes or so and then check it, see if it's set, if the eggs are set, and then it will be time to eat. I'm so excited that this recipe worked out. It was really good, and it was so nice that even though I had let these croissants almost go bad, I was able to sort of rejuvenate them for this meal. It was really good, very tasty, super simple, just the kind of dinner I love to have on a busy weeknight. Okay, tonight I decided that we would use up our ravioli that I got at Aldi for 50 off. I have gotten some hamburger meat and some mushrooms, got some other ingredients. We're going to put all of this together and make a homemade beef stroganoff or hamburger stroganoff. I think that it's going to taste really good with this ravioli. I'm sort of very hopeful about it, but I'll let you know in the end if this is the best option. If not, we can just replace it with some other kind of pasta, or even rice should be really good. But the first thing I'm going to do is heat up some water for cooking the ravioli and get my hamburger meat in the skillet and get it cooking. I'm also going to cook some Brussels sprouts in the oven. So I'm going to get those started so that they can be cooking. It does take them quite a while to cook, maybe 25 to 30 minutes. So I want to go ahead and get them started. I'm just going to drizzle some oil on top of the Brussels sprouts. Stir that around really good. Make sure that they're all good and coated. And now I'm just going to sprinkle with some salt. I'm going to pop this into the oven, and whenever they're browning on the bottom, they should be just about ready to go. I'm going to chop up this onion pretty fine. A lot of people don't really love big chunks of onions, so I'm going to get it as small as I can to allow it to have the flavor of the onion, but not have anybody bite into a big bite. Okay, our water is boiling. So now I'm going to pour in our ravioli. I'm gonna let this cook for about 3 minutes. I'm gonna stir it a couple of times while it's cooking. I want to be real easy with them. I want to be gentle, but allow them to cook fully, and then we will drain this water. Our hamburger is done cooking. I've got some grease that I need to take care of. Okay, I drained that. Now we're ready to add our other ingredients. I'm going to add my onions and allow them to cook up until they are nice and tender. I'm also going to add my diced mushrooms. I've rinsed them. They were already sliced, but I diced them up a little smaller. I did not realize that this was going to fill this skillet up. I just remembered that the package of meat that I used was 1.25 pounds instead of just 1 pound. So that explains why I have so much extra. I think actually what I will do is pull some of this out after everything is cooked through and save it for another meal. We don't need this much meat in this recipe. That'll just save me some time next time when it's time to cook dinner, and I will already have all of the ingredients all together. Maybe I can come up with another casserole. Who knows? But we certainly don't need this much meat for this meal, so I'll let everything cook together well, and then I'll pull out some of it. Our ravioli is nice and done. I'm gonna drain all of the water and sit right there until we're ready to incorporate it into the rest of the ingredients. This recipe calls for beef bouillon. I have found that this is the best option. It is very expensive to source your own bones for beef broth. This Better Than Bouillon is healthy. The ingredients are clean, it's organic, and you can get, this didn't come from Costco or Sam's, but you can get a huge container at Costco for less than $10, and it will make, like, I don't even know how many cups, like a ton of cups of beef broth. So that is one really good way to save a lot of money. Sometimes it's cheaper to make things yourself. A lot of times it is. In this instance, I have found this is the easiest, cheapest, and most healthy way to go. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm down at the bottom of this container, so I'm just gonna pour a little bit of hot water in, stir it around, get all of the extra goodie out of it, pour it into my mason jar. The recipe calls for 1/2 cup, so we'll just add 1/2 cup of water, put the lid on, and shake it really good. Okay, we are at the home stretch. I'm gonna add 1/2 tablespoon of garlic. I'm gonna mix that in and let it cook for about 30 seconds to a minute. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Let's add a tablespoon of Worcestershire, our 1/2 cup of beef broth. Stir that together. If there's anything on the bottom of the pan, this is a great opportunity for you to sort of scrape it up, incorporate it into this liquid. Now we're going to drop in our chunks of cream cheese. I'm going to use a whole block of cream cheese. You can use 4 to 6 ounces, 8 ounces, however much you have or want to use. And now we want to stir this around until our cream cheese melts. You can also use sour cream as your creamy ingredient for this. I've even used cottage cheese before. That works out pretty good. This is what I had on hand, so this is what we try to do around here. To me, this is a kind of meal that is very elegant. It seems like sort of extra to me. It's not just a quick and simple throw it on the plate dinner, but I mean, it's taken less than 30 minutes from start to finish. We're almost done, and I think this is sort of an extra special kind of dinner. So not only is it healthy, plenty of protein, it's got plenty of vegetables in this meal, but it also has a feeling of an extra special dinner. So if you're looking for something that won't take a lot of time, but your family will feel like you have put extra effort into it, this is a really good option. Okay, I don't really see many more chunks of that cream cheese. So I think we are good to fold in our ravioli. They sort of stuck together, so I'm just gonna place them, stir them in a bit. I'm gonna be gentle. I don't wanna be overwhelming and knock everything out of the pan. Once our Brussels sprouts are done, dinner will be ready to eat. I felt like this was a really enjoyable dinner. It was very delicious, but it didn't take a lot of time. It was really simple to put together, and I was able to make use of the half off ravioli that I had gotten at Aldi. All in all, this was a total win for dinner. For our last meal today, we are going to put together some meatball sliders. I got these meatballs at Sam's Club. For some reason, they were marked down to like $4 for this whole package. That was a really good deal, something that I couldn't pass up, even though I'm not a huge fan of meatballs. They are chicken meatballs flavored with cranberry and jalapeno. I don't know if you can still source these at Sam's Club. It was in December when I bought them, but this recipe can be used with really any meat that you want. You can put regular beef meatballs in here, lunch meat. This recipe works for a lot of different kinds of meat. So if you can't find these meatballs, just use whatever you can find. These Hawaiian rolls have been in the freezer for a long time also, so it's really good for me to be able to use them up. I'm just gonna cut the Hawaiian rolls in half, put the bottom half of the Hawaiian rolls in my baking dish, and then melt 1 stick of butter, mix in 3 tablespoons of honey, and I'm going to pour all of that honey butter mixture onto the bottom of the rolls and spread that around really good. I decided to half these meatballs. Like I said, meatballs are not really my thing, so I felt like the smaller the better, but I just felt like it would make the sandwiches a little more manageable if I halved them. So I'm just going to place them all on top of the honey butter, and then I had provolone cheese in the refrigerator. You can use whatever kind of cheese you would like. I think cheddar cheese would be really good with these meatballs, but the provolone was a nice smooth flavor. I'm going to take 1/2 stick of butter and another tablespoon of honey, spread that on the top of the buns, and then bake these in the oven 350 degrees for about 20 minutes or so until the cheese is nice and melted and the top of the bread is browned. I'm going to serve this up with one of my favorite salad mixes from Aldi. It's the sunflower, kale, and cabbage mix. I love it. It tastes so good. It's always really nice to have a couple of these salad mixes in the refrigerator ready to go so that you can have a quick side when you need a quick and easy dinner. I'm so glad to be back in the kitchen with you this week. I hope these recipes give you a little bit of a head start on your meal planning for next week. They were all so super easy and simple to put together, so I hope that your family loves each and every one of them. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you again next time.